warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. There's a request for dua of maghfirah for a brother who had passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate his status in Jannah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of the deceased. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen. Wa ba'd. During any conversation, one of the most difficult things to do is to pretend that you do not know what the other person is saying. So for instance, your child comes to you and he wants to tell you a story that is quite long, but you know that you've heard the story already a million times. To not show agitation. Someone is newly practicing Islam, they come to you and they say, oh yeah, by the way, I want to tell you the story about Umar radiallahu anhu and how he accepted Islam. Obviously, we heard this for so long and we're listening to this person. One of the hardest things to do is to pretend as though we don't know what's going on. My teacher gave me this advice, and I mentioned this before. At-taghaful min sifatil kiram. That pretending like you do not know something is the quality of those people who are noble and those people who have noble qualities. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, one of the famous tabi'un, he says that إن الشاب لا يحدثني كأني لم أسمعه وقد سمعت ذلك قبل أن يولد. It's a very powerful statement. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, he was the teacher of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala. He says, sometimes while I'm sitting down, I may be a big scholar, I may be a big muhaddith, and I have a lot of students. Some of the young children, the youngsters of the community, they used to come to me and they used to talk to me. And they used to tell me, oh, did you hear this hadith? Oh, do you know about this story? Do you know about this about Umar radiallahu anhu? They used to talk to me. And I would listen to them attentively as though it's the first time I am hearing it. Little does this person know that I heard this before this child was even born. قَبْلَ أَن يُولَدْ. Before he was even born, I already heard the story, I know the story. Rather, I say the story to other people, but just so that I could give this person that attention that he came with, that desire, that passion, I listen attentively and I pretend as though I have not heard it. One of our own weaknesses, and I speak to myself first and foremost here, is in any conversation, when someone discusses a hadith, a ruling of fiqh, something of history, even in worldly matters, something about gadgets, for instance, something about politics, I need to be the center of attention. I need to be the person who lets everyone else know, listen, what you're saying is old news. Yeah, you know what you're saying? I read that article last week. Oh, you know what you're telling me right now? You know, I already know about it. This type of behavior is a sign that I want to be the center of attention. If someone is relating something with a lot of passion, again, Islamically for sure, even outside of Islam, somebody comes to me and says, oh yeah, by the way, you know, this is happening or that is happening. And it's nothing too serious. I don't need to, yeah, don't worry about it. I already know about it. No, go like, oh, mashallah, is that true? What harm is there in me telling the person, you know, mashallah, jazakallah khairan for that information. Jazakallah khairan. You know, subhanallah, I used to see our teacher, he's one of the, in South Africa, he's one of the biggest muftis over there. And people used to come and ask questions, and sometimes I used to see, when we used to pray salah, there were local people who used to pray salah with him, not asking questions. They used to only come for the Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib salah. They used to come. They would come after the salah was done. Our teacher, our Mufti Sahib, he was sitting over there. They would go to him and start telling him, you know, subhanallah, I was reading this book today, and I read this hadith, and my teacher was like, oh, mashallah, seriously, tell me, what do you know from that hadith? What did you learn? My teacher, subhanallah, he's teaching Sahih al-Bukhari, he's teaching all of these, but he's not giving the impression that I already know it. So, the lesson that we learn, and from the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that we learn to listen attentively. And as Ata ibn Abi Rabah says, listen as though you have never heard it before. And the ulama mentioned, listen as though you never heard before, because perhaps you can learn something new this time. إِذَا تَكَرَّرَ تَقَرَّرَ. When something is often repeated, it is established in the heart. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to listen attentively. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to give each and every person the attention that they deserve. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to give people that same enthusiasm and passion, even though we already heard what they were going to say to us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.